Happy Monday. I am stoked about this huddle. We have a power-packed huddle for you. I'm super excited. I am going to read the mission statement today. Is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. We have a special guest today on our Y4C2Ts. He has helped me win-win or no deal in terms of financial planning. And he supports a lot of our top agents. I'm going to give you guys a glimpse. Many of you, good morning, Liza. Thanks for coming in. Many of you have heard this story before, but we thought I'd refresh because there might be new people in the room. Some of you may know, before I met my husband, and when he was 42, he stepped into a crosswalk in London, and a double long red bus, the driver fell asleep and hit him, and he landed on his head at 35 miles an hour and was in a coma for 3 months, and traumatic brain injury survivor, 20 years this year. 45% of his brain is still alive. So I'm so thankful. He's amazing. And
hopefully it's the good part.
This is the good part. He checked a box and got disability insurance that pays our mortgage. And it's changed our life together. And so I like to tell that story because you never think it's going to happen to you. And agents, you have the opportunity to get disability insurance that can protect you and your family. So Chris is going to tell you all about that. He's amazing. He's a good guy too, and has great family. And we're just stoked to have him here as our guest. So welcome, Chris Cruz.
Thank you.
Do I need to navigate this, or you'll?
Oh, you will. Yeah, that'd be for my reference. Yeah.
You will.
Okay,
Awesome.
cyberspace.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's very nice to be here. I was here back in December too, so some familiar faces. Always love coming by. Love building new relationships. I built my practice in Dallas, working with a lot of real estate professionals through Mike Brody and many other connections. Somehow got to be here, Keller Williams in Maui, and we love coming out here. My wife and I try to spend about a month out here a year at different times, usually 3 different trips. We have 2 young kids, and I love the opportunity to be able to come out here. If you saw me in Dallas, I would be totally clean shaven, would definitely not be wearing a ball cap. So it's a very, very different feel, and you know, I love that, and I love having the opportunity to come out here and, you know, make our trip a tax deduction. That doesn't hurt either. That's also very positive. But have a lot of clients here. Dean Otto was actually one of my first. I was actually with him and Michelle last night. So love the opportunity to be able to be out here, to be here with you. Any value I can add. I mean, I'm here truly, you know, servant's heart. I mean, whatever I can do, any questions I can answer, I'm happy to do so. I'll run real quick through our client presentation deck. Maybe might illuminate some things for some of you that you may want to pull the string on a little bit, or questions you might want to have. What I will tell you is oftentimes I've done this here, and I've done it many, many times. I hear from people, usually at least 3 or 4, hey, I can't wait to talk to you about that. And then typically there's not a whole lot of follow-up after that. So what I would tell you is if there is something that you want to follow up on, or you want to talk about, you can go to our website. It's roundtable.nm.com. Go to the contact me part of that, and you can submit an inquiry there very easily. And if you want my contact information, Sasha can also pass it along. So first, my firm's Roundtable Associates. When you think about the solutions we provide at a high level, a very basic level, it's things like disability insurance, things like life insurance, helping people build an emergency fund, doing annuity planning, brokerage services, which is investments. We do a lot of lending against those life insurance policies, lending against investment accounts. We have a relationship with BNY Mellon through Northwestern Mutual corporately that has very, very attractive rates for lending. So for some of your clients that are sitting back and they have some assets and they need help with lending or mortgages or things like that, we do lend in Hawaii. We lend condotels. I mean, everything from top to bottom. So we have referral partners for that. That's not typically our business line item. We work more on personal financial planning. And when Sasha and I got together this morning for coffee, one of the things that was very relevant was talking about disability insurance. I mean, 1 in 5 foreclosures happens because of a disability. So for all of you, I kind of think about like real estate agents, cover your back pack would include life insurance, would include disability insurance, would include some sort of a savings plan, right? Save for taxes, save for emergencies, save for those different things. These are things that if you were employed, if you were not a self-employed person, you would have all these things provided by your employer. But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, these are the things that you have to go seek out if you want to have them in good order. So I recommend looking at those things. These are all things we can talk about. We do also offer fee-based planning, which is essentially fee for service. So you can engage with us and say, I have no idea what I need, and you can basically buy time, right? And we can look at everything for you from top to bottom. We also can offer this to your clients. And because of the relationship we have with Keller Williams, there's some discounts that we can offer on some of these fee-based planning engagements as well. So any questions so far? I want to just pause there for a second. Any questions on any of that? Awesome. Okay. So if we keep scrolling here. Okay, so firm's core values. These are the things, again, that we went over last time. Integrity, servant leadership. I'm not affecting anything by scrolling here, right?
No, you're not.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I was looking over there and I heard people mentioning like, hey, well, don't look the wrong place. I'm like, well, where am I supposed to look? Camera's here. Okay, so I have it here in front of me now. So core values for our firm. I started with Northwestern in 2010. So I started my 15th year, March 7th. And over the last 14 years, these are the core values that we've come up with: integrity, servant leadership, passion, simplicity, which I think is super key. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're an agent, I think simplicity becomes really important. You bring to the table a lot of these others. We bring to the table all of these, of course, but simplicity becomes very important in financial planning. This is our team, very proud of it. We got voted the best looking team in America 5 years in a row. I'm just kidding. But very, very proud of our team. Most of the tenured people here have been with us at least 5 years, many of them close to 10 or more. So we've been around. We're not, fly-by-night team. We've been around for a long time and are very proud of the work we do for our clients. Financial planning solutions we provide, just to go through this again: wealth and income protection. That's a different way to say disability insurance. But also looking at, do you have other insurances in place like long-term care, things that cover your state that are a tax deduction, not a CPA, so I can't say they're a tax deduction, but talk to your CPA. Should be a tax deduction if scheduled correctly when you file your return. Long-term care, education planning, retirement, investment advisory, private client services, trust and estate planning, things we refer out. Some of your higher net worth clients, a lot of the properties they buy here, they may not be buying those properties in their name, right? So we can work with, what's the right structure. In 2026, a lot of estate planning is going to change. I'm sure a lot of you know. So with the sunset of those laws, the exemption is going to go from about 24 million all the way down to 12 million. So a whole new slew of people is going to be eligible to pay. They're going to have the opportunity to pay a 40% tax on money that's already been taxed. There are things that we can do to help your clients that might be in that space to bring value in those areas. And then, of course, business planning and fee-based planning. As far as business planning, I have an office that I oversee as well with Northwestern of 130 advisors. I used to always tell Lisa, we're like the Northwestern Mutual, or you guys are like the Northwestern Mutual of the real estate world. I mean, our companies have very, very, very similar cultures, very similar ways of growing, market penetration, all those things. So I guess what I'd like to say is, like, if I was at Keller Williams, I feel like a lot of the things that I do are very applicable to your business. So I don't want to offer, coaching services, because that's not what I do, but certainly have had a lot of very, very positive experience working with a lot of the best, both in Keller Williams and outside. So, when it comes to business planning, how does your financial plan impact your business? Those are all very relevant things as well. So what you can expect from us: guidance and insights, personalized onboarding, financial plan updates, client service. These are all things, whether you have a simple disability insurance policy with us or we do everything for you, manage all your wealth. These are all things that we can work towards and on. We partner with Northwestern Mutual. We're not exclusive with Northwestern. We have access to any company that's out there, but Northwestern is our broker dealer. The reason is the financial stability. They're the only AAA rated financial services company in the world. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Been around since the 1850s. Paid a positive dividend every year since 1872. Some of these things are just illustrations. A lot of times when we first meet with a client, this is their financial life. It's like sort of all these different pieces that, we're eventually going to get to talking about these things. Our goal becomes to make it something it's more streamlined and connecting relationships with people that can help you get that, whether it be a high quality CPA or an estate planning attorney or a bookkeeper or whatever it may be. another picture of our team. So with that having been said, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, any Q&A, if there is anything. And we can go from there and go as long as Sasha can pull me off with a cane. Yeah, Mark.
What's the profile, or what questions do we ask to find out who really can use your services?
It's a good question. So what I would tell you is what we do is so broad, and I'm going back to this page, the solutions we provide page. If you can get back here, yeah. So it's so broad that I would just tell you an initial phone call. An initial phone call to determine, what's the best path. Is it something that might need, a lot of our team to get involved, multiple CFPs, people that are accredited in estate planning, or is it something simple like getting a disability policy in place? It just kind of depends. But I'm happy to take a phone call to discuss that.
I guess when I'm talking to people, the question in my head is, do you have a financial planner? That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Do you
Which
have
is a lot like asking, do you have a real estate agent? Like, yeah, I have 12. I actually don't. Yeah, perfect. So how would you handle it if somebody asked you the same question about being a real estate agent?
How would I handle?
Yeah, if somebody asked you if you know a real estate agent.
Real estate agent.
Yeah.
Do you know a good one?
Well, so that could be a
Joey
good,
didn't like that one.
yeah.
So what is the income that you would suggest that would need? Is that what you're really saying?
That's part of what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
so again, I mean, and that was just a
Income,
conversation.
assets.
Yeah, this is a conversation I had with Sasha this morning. I mean, who in this room has disability insurance? Raise your hand. Okay, so who has evaluated disability insurance the last 12 months? Okay, so everyone in here should probably be having some kind of a conversation. That conversation may be very different than, hey, I just sold a $10 million property, or didn't sell, I guess, as Dean and I talked last night. I just sold a $10 million property in Kapalua to this person, and they're worth 180 million. They're going to have different needs in somebody's disability insurance policy, but that's part of why we built out a firm, right? And so we have quite a big spectrum, a large style tolerance of who we can work with, and we have the capacity to work with all those people. But estate tax issues and things like that are typically 20 million or more of estate. And our ideal client typically is making around $1 million a year. But that doesn't mean that, I wouldn't be more than happy to have a conversation about getting a disability or a long-term care policy in place and helping you get started if you haven't gotten started with financial planning. And that's why I'm kind of tentative to just say, hey, this is exactly who we're looking for. Part of me, last time I came, in December, I showed you guys all this stuff. And I was like, here it all is. And then I kind of walked out and I felt like, well, I don't know if I've really appealed to everybody the way I was trying to. This really is something that everyone should be taking steps in. If they don't have somebody they trust. And so although there may be more complex things that our whole team may need to be involved in, a simple phone call about disability insurance, or, I have 2 kids and I haven't looked at my life insurance in 5 years. These are things, if you were employed, you had an employer, they would be offered. And that's the challenge is, you're in the entrepreneurial world and the opportunity economy instead of the time and effort economy. And I think there's different things that need to be discussed. Yes.
Is there, can you maybe explain what a model might be for inexpensive disability insurance for real estate agent makes up 100,000?
Yeah.
How much that would cost?
Sure.
39 on Zoom too.
Sure. So, disability insurance is really cheap. And when I mention it, it's kind of like a starting point, because what typically happens is people will say, okay, I want to talk about this. And by the second phone call or the second Zoom meeting or the second time we've gotten together in our office, we're talking about 7 things they didn't even realize they needed on the front end. So we may determine on that call, hey, you're close to retirement, or you need some consulting on your business. Let's do a planning engagement. Or we may determine, we need to put disability in place. It costs $42 a month, and those things are very, very simple. But that first step, that first, move is what, we can't really do that. We certainly can come out here and have conversations and things like that. But it's not expensive, very inexpensive. Life insurance, same thing. To go buy term insurance, it's not expensive. It's a Keller Williams, the second oldest, and I can't tell you who it is. The second oldest person I ever wrote a life insurance policy on is a very, very, very successful Keller Williams owner. And she was in her mid 70s, so there's also not a limit on what's your age, right? So Now it costs more in your mid-70s than it does in your mid-30s or mid-40s. But you know, there's always opportunities there to have those discussions. I feel like I didn't answer your question. Did I answer your question?
You did.
You did. Okay.
You did.
I did. Okay.
You have enough.
Any other questions, people? Zoom that? Thank you, 40
Sure.
people who are here on Zoom, and thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Just love having you here.
I'm so glad to be here. And the only other thing I'd leave you with, you know, outside perspective coming in, you know, my wife and I love coming here. There's obviously been a lot of changes here over the last 5 years. You know, you have COVID, you have the fires, you know, all these things that have happened that are changing the way people interact and do business here. And I talked to Dean about this last night. Some of the very best advice I ever got from one of my mentors was, he said, never wait. And in our business, I mean, this happens often, right? You think about the economic markets and the economy and headlines and all these things. Real estate doesn't trade hands quite as often. So it still happens, but maybe you're sort of sitting in a front row seat of a very dynamic change. One of my best mentors said to never waste a good crisis, you know, and I look at something like this and there's going to be people that are going to be thinking about, you know, well, should I stay in real estate? Should I be doing this? Nobody's selling anything. You know, well, at the end of the day, somebody's selling something. And it's usually the successful people. And, you know, his advice, his name is Eddie, his advice was always never waste a good crisis. And 3 houses down from me is the top agent in Dallas, one of my very good personal friends. Top agent in Dallas, does millions and millions, hundreds of millions of all, I mean, just huge producer. And I remember having a conversation with him during COVID. And this was before everybody knew COVID was going to be awesome. Okay, for real estate, right? Not. I'm sorry. I should not for health and wellness, but for the markets, for real estate. You know, the economy. This is before everybody knew it was going to be awesome for that purpose. I want to make sure that was clear. Not COVID was not awesome, but awesome for the economy. And you know, while this was happening, I remember going on a walk, as we all did, and here's my next door neighbor, or my 2 houses down neighbor. So we had a lot of conversations, like you would with people that live close to you, right? Who else are you going to talk to? You're not talking to your normal circle. And I remember talking to him and asking him and saying, hey, Victor, you know, I'm kind of, you know, worried about my business, worried about your business. Like, is real estate going to change hands? What's going to happen? And he looked at me, and he's Vietnamese. He immigrated from Vietnam. I mean, this was like very, very difficult immigration process. He works with many of the Dallas Cowboys and the Mavericks. He barely speaks English. I mean, it's like he speaks English, but like it's so broken. And he said to me, Chris, if any houses are being sold in Dallas, Victor will be selling the houses. And it was basically like, the mindset is not like, hey, what's going on that's in the way? The mindset is like, things better get out of the way because he's coming, right? And so I'll leave you with that, because I see it here. Like there's going to be a lot of opportunity for your business. And what's probably happening is the people that may not be sure about where they're going might not be having the same opportunities. You know, so it might be a challenge, it might be a headwind, but the people that come out on the other side of the headwind are going to be stronger and better. So I'll leave you with that. I hope this was helpful, and welcome to go to our website, roundtable.nm.com. Sasha's also got our contact information, and it was very nice being with you this morning. Bless all you.
I can tell you guys, last year I was on a journey for my financial fitness and health, and I did the full year. I just finished up my 12 months, and it absolutely changed my future. I got the disability in place. I got a whole life term policy in place, and they advised me on everything. It was great. So really appreciate your time, Chris. Okay, guys, I have a treat for you. We had a financial fitness class last Friday that we're doing every month. And it is, you can find all the materials and recordings at the Wealth Builders Network on Facebook. So take out your phones right now on Facebook and look for the group, the Wealth Builders Network. It has a WBN, looks like this. We are starting a movement with Colette. There's 107 members. It's a private group. Looks like this. See that? So join the group and you're going to get access to all the materials and recordings. We're looking to have it grow. Feel free to share with your friends and family on the mainland. We had such a treasure last Friday. I asked Barb and Lee Potts to share what they shared at this event. It was really powerful. We were looking at what the lessons they have learned. And so I wanted all of you to get to hear that. And so thank you so much, Barb and Lee Potts, for joining us And I'll turn it over to you.
Aloha, everybody.
Hello.
morning.
Hi.
I love it. I love it. So as you know, we used to live in Lahaina. We lived at Ainanalu for 17 years, and our office was across the street. And we had prepared for hurricanes. I think it's safe to say we weren't prepared for this necessarily. So I'm going to try to go through this fairly succinctly. First of all, it turned our lives upside down because we had our home, we had investment condo, we had a car, we had our office, we had everything we owned except what we were wearing and the car we're driving now. So things we should have done, and we knew we should have done some of these things, we just never got around to it. And one of those things, and so I'm just going to really strongly recommend that when you go home today, or if you are at home, take some time, get out your camera or your phone and walk around and take a video of your contents. Because we had insurance, but guess what? Everybody wanted a list. So we were trying to update our inventory on the fly, just closing our eyes and trying to imagine what was in each room.
We forgot a lot of things.
We're still like, oh yeah, I got one of those in my backpack. Oh no, I don't have a backpack. Okay, we're not going to do that. One of the things that I would suggest, because in real estate for our clients, Ninja clients, we do an annual real estate review. I'm going to strongly suggest that you put your insurance on your calendar every time, every day. So for set a date, the renewal date, and make it happen once a year, every year. And why do we want to do that, Barbara?
Well, because you want to make sure that you have the right coverage. So one of the things that happened, luckily, I had joined the KW Wealth Group months before the fire. And one of the first things that they had you do was fill out the scorecard, which included pages of questions and areas to follow up on, which started with risk management and insurance. So luckily for us, I guess it was about a month or two before the fire, I called my insurance agent, set up an appointment, and went through all of our policies that we had. And so I was able to understand what coverage we had and add coverage. So for example, for the contents for our condo, we had just purchased some art, so we had an art rider, things like that. So I was able to look at that. And then we also added umbrella insurance, which we didn't have before. So that was super helpful because when the fire hit, we had at least more coverage. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, if you meet with your agent, then you're able to make sure that you have actually paid your bill.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because at Ainanalu, because of some kerfluffle with the association and the post office refused to deliver mail to 660 Waianae Street. Well, that was the address that the insurance company had for the insurance on Barb's condo. So when the bill didn't come, we didn't know that the bill didn't come. And so when we found out there was no coverage because the coverage got canceled, the insurance agent said, well, we did our job. We mailed it to you twice and you didn't respond. So we just canceled the insurance. So aside from having an insurance agent that really didn't care, if we had been meeting with someone, we would have had that coverage.
That policy, my condo was in my IRA. And so it wasn't the normal insurance policy that we have with all of our other stuff. So I missed it. I just missed it.
This we should all know about. Scan all your documents and put them into the cloud. We had an issue with one of our backups. So we had missed June and July. We had backups on all of our hard drives. The hard drives were sitting next to the computers that burned, so that wasn't very useful. We did have a disaster kit that was for hurricanes, though, and that was inside the condo. And something my daughter, who lives in fire country in California, always has a go bag. So if you're going to have to evacuate, you can grab a bag, and you've got your stuff in it, grab your important papers, which we had all in one place, but we weren't there. So just some things to do. Next slide. And Barbara?
Again, Keller Williams Wealth Group has really helped us a lot. And these are some of the things that they encourage you to take a look at. So I already talked about the car insurance, the homeowner's insurance, and the umbrella policy. So I was able to look at those before the fire and make some changes. The other things that are really important for you to be looking at, and Chris mentioned this earlier, disability insurance, medical insurance, long-term care insurance, life insurance. Those are things that I wish that I had joined Keller Williams Wealth years ago, when I was younger, because it would have been so much more effective for me to look at. We looked at long-term care insurance with Chris, I think a couple of years ago, and by the time we looked at it, it was so expensive for us, it just didn't make sense. And then whole life insurance, we just have term. I just didn't understand the value of whole life insurance if you want to use that for cash flow and managing your cash. And then the other thing, of course, is cash liquidity. Always try to have your 3 to 6 months operating expenses there just in case. And estate planning is really important, so that you need not just a will, but a trust, so that when you pass away, your property is not going through probate, and you're also thinking ahead about what your family's going to do after your passing, and kind of making some decisions ahead of time to eliminate problems.
Family problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide, please. So we'll talk, I just want to touch on the difference between homeowners insurance for people that have a single family home and condos. One of the first things, though, is you want to know where your insurance policies are. And if you keep them in a paper file and you have a fire, then they might be gone. You also want to learn to read, probably the declarations page is the best, it's the easiest thing to read in all of your insurance policy. It describes the coverages that you have and how much coverage you have. Because I know a lot of people at Ananalu were surprised that they had like $20,000 on contents insurance and they had $60,000 or $70,000 in contents. So you really need to know how to interpret the coverages that you have. Also, in California, I understand that replacement insurance, so your homeowner's insurance for your property is at replacement value. A lot of people here were insured for $200 a square foot, $300 a square foot for their homes. Now, if you own a condo, you don't have anything because it's all up to the association. So if the association is underinsured, as is our case, but also in a place where God only knows when or if we're going to be able to rebuild, we're estimating 7 years. So getting insurance for our contents doesn't really help us with finding a new place to live. But if you have a single family home, you really want to look at making sure you have replacement coverage. Also, when all of this started, I was put in contact with a broker in Paradise, California. She actually flew to Hawaii. She did a broker's panel for our association, for Realtors Association. And there was a private adjuster there. So if you don't know what a private adjuster is, if you have a single family home, they can be very handy because they will represent you. It's a plus and minus situation, because they take a significant percentage. But my sister-in-law was getting assigned adjusters for the house she lost in Lahaina, and the adjusters were coming out of Tennessee. They really had no idea of the costs of labor and materials here on Maui. And if you have a catastrophe like we did at Ainanalu, you just get your contents insurance and you're on your own. So that cash liquidity thing that Barbara talked about turns out to be very important. Next slide.
One thing I would mention.
Next slide, please.
Slide. we kind of glossed over it, but I lost both of my computers and all of my backup hard drives because they were in my condo in my office. So I had no way to get all the records that were lost. And unfortunately, I had an online backup service that was no longer working. I was having problems with it before the fire. So I just really encourage you to not only have your backups on your hard drives, but also have an online backup system that you know is working and just monitor that.
So just as an agent, one of the things we get when we sell a condo, right, is we get an insurance summary. I always just looked at that to make sure there was an insurance summary and something was happening there. Now I know to look and see, you know, how much coverage does this place have? Inanalu was covered for $33 million, and you know, we're guessing it's going to be $100 million to rebuild. So those are things that are going to be coming up a lot more in your practice when you're dealing with condos. Also, if you're the owner, you have a coverage on your policy that's called additional living expense. So that works different ways with different companies. You want to see how much you have. So if you had to be out of your home for 6 months or a year or 3 years, how much coverage can you get? And again, just cost benefit analysis. How do you want to do that? Also, if it's a rental property, how much coverage do you have for lost rents? Because one of my clients has 2 years of coverage and some of them had more like 2 months. So if you're going to be out of that for a long time, your insurance agent can set up something to make sure that you've got it. Also, something I found out we had that I didn't even know about was assessment coverage. So when the condo complex starts to be rebuilt, it's very difficult for an association to take the position that they're not going to rebuild. They would have to actually dissolve the condominium regime, which is problematic. It requires 80% of all the owners to vote to dissolve it and 100% of the lien holders, so all the mortgagors. So that's not likely going to happen. The association is also compelled by law to levy assessments in order to rebuild. So we happen to have assessment coverage. So if Inanalu has an assessment, we've got insurance coverage for that. Next slide. And I'm just going to blow through these. I just want to make sure that you are aware of it, just so if it came up in conversation or if it seemed relevant. Everybody knows about a 1031 exchange. There's another section of the tax code called 1033, and people will call it a 1033 exchange. What this is relative to is if you lost a property, so it could be a single family home, it could be an investment property, it could be a commercial property. If you lost that to disaster, or as we're kind of hearing through the county, perhaps eminent domain, right? And you receive either an insurance payment or you receive payment from a government entity. If the amount you receive is greater than the basis for your property, you could be exposed to capital gains tax. Now, there's some exemptions for homeowners, but I was kind of assuming that if you got insurance for your house, that would not be taxable. So that is not true. You get your 121 exemption. So for a single person, that's $250,000 for your personal residence, or a married couple, $500,000. But if the money you received was greater, so some of those neighborhoods in Lahaina, those houses have been there for a long time. And maybe some of those were purchased for a few $100,000 and now they're worth over $1 million. So they could be subject to this. And one of the reasons I bring it up is because I've talked to CPAs and asked, are you familiar? What do you know about a 1033? The answer I usually get is, I'm not familiar with that. So it'll be something good to know about. You can just go through the rest of the slides if you will, because I think that's all I wanted to say on 1033. You'll have access to these slides. So if you want to know more, you can just go to the next slide. You can pull these up and it's got the deferral periods and how this actually works. There's no intermediary like with a 1031 exchange. You can always call me or talk to a CPA. And that's it. If there are any questions, I can take a few questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, do you have any questions for Lee and Barbara? Okay, well, thank you for sharing. That was amazing. I appreciate you guys, sharing some hard stuff that you learned, and it certainly can help all of us.
Can I just add something?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was awesome, Lee and Barb. Thank you so much. This is Marian talking. I wanted to also share that some other people that I spoke to had been using their email on Maui.net and downloaded all their email onto their computer and kept it there. And as a result of the fire, had no email. And in this day and age of the cloud, I would recommend that people switch to a cloud-based email service and not just download their email and not risk losing it all.
Yes, I agree. That's one thing that saved me a little bit is that I was able to get my Apple mail from the cloud when I got my new computer. So at least I had that.
Yeah, great point, Marian. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, well, that was a treasure. We had an idea too that came out of this. We're talking about adding value as agents to our clients and setting ourselves apart. What would it look like if at closing, you gave your clients the 2 to 3 minute videos of the entire contents of the home they bought for their records, right? It's free pretty much. And what a gift to them if anything ever happened. All right, we had a fantastic board meeting last week or month. Dean led it. If you were there, you get all kinds of treasures when you participate in the board. Wanted to clarify how the board is developed, so all of you know. We have these 10 members. On September 1st, I pull the production from the past full year, September 1st to September 1st, and the people in the top 20% of our company qualify. It's about 40. And then I do interviews in September to see who we want to put on the board for the following year. Then we go to a retreat and the term starts January 1st. So I want to thank our board, and I have also asked 3 members to redshirt. Those of you who are familiar with college athletics, often when people come onto a team, they have a redshirt year before their freshman year so they can get to know the sport. And I'm so thankful April, Marianne, and JC have come to participate in our board meetings and as they consider maybe an opportunity for the future. So thank you, board. Happy birthday, Joanne Fox, today. Yay. And Ashley, yay. Joanne, are you on? We wish you all the best. And the rest of them this week, Marcus, Joshua, and Ashley. And Maka, congratulations on your first closing. That's so exciting. Yay. Okay, our top producers for March. Congratulations, everyone. And then moving forward, take a look. You guys saw this last week, but we are definitely outperforming our board. Now we have a tech update from Carrie. There's some exciting news in command today. Carrie, are you on?
I am on. Hey guys, wanted to make sure that you knew what your consumer app, your consumer website got a really cool upgrade, making it easier for your clients. RJ, do you have screen sharing? Am I able to share my screen? Nope. All right, well, as you guys go to your site, you'll notice that when you hit log in, your clients can log in with a social authentication. They can quickly and easily click on a button that says log in with my Google, log in with Facebook, right? So they no longer have to struggle and put their name, put their password in there. And it's so much easier, guys. So then now we're introducing something that they just at a click of a button, they're logging into your platform. They're pulling real estate data from all over the country. And as they do their search initially, like other CRMs, Command is now going to auto save that search. So they're going to get a weekly automated email based upon their first search. Really cool stuff going on. Should you want to learn more, let me know how I can help. First Wednesdays of every month on the training calendar, Zach Younger, our regional tech trainer, he teaches a class, Take Command of Your Business. It's on the training calendar at 11 every first Wednesday. And of course, if you have not joined talking about Facebook groups, the NorCal Hawaii regional Facebook page, those recordings for that Take Command, there's lots of good stuff on that group as well. So please, please, please join and engage and let me know how I can help.
Awesome, Carrie, thank you. And I want to add, today they added something. When you log into Command, look in the bottom right. It's called KWIQ. It's a little sparkle, and it's our like Chat GPT. So it's in development. So go ahead and ask questions, ask about open house, and it will learn as we continue to use it. And so check that out. It just launched today. Teresa, would you like to share about Role Play Wednesday?
Hi, we'd love for you guys to come and join us for Role Play Wednesday. We have 2 sessions available, 7:30 to 8 in the morning for those early risers, and 4:30 to 5 for those who want to finish up at the end of the day. This is an awesome time, guys, to practice your conversations and the things that are important to you and how you communicate to your clients. It is the best way to be able to do this with each other versus practicing on your client. So please sign up. We'd love to have you. We're having lots of fun.
Awesome, Teresa, thank you. This week, May 1st, we are going to have a West Maui huddle. Everyone is invited. Just because you're not on West Maui, please join us. You can make the drive, show some love to those website agents. And we have lunch sponsored, and it will be at Leah's Luxury Listing. So it's going to be a fun event. Hope to see a lot of you there. West Maui drives into town. Let's go drive and support them. Okay, Jonathan, I don't know if you're on. You want to speak to Charity Walk and the good times you guys had last night?
Yes, hey, Jonathan here on behalf of our KW Culture Committee, aka the Culture Club. And thank you to all the agents who came out. I don't know if we got some photos in here. Hopefully we do for our social activity, which was bowling night. It was a blast. We had about 25 agents and family friends that were all part of it. And there's also the charity walk coming up, so please inquire about that coming up. Oh, here's some slides from bowling night. And yeah, and also we have our Holly Cow activity also coming up on the 3rd Wednesday in May. So just let me know if you want to be a part of it. And it was a good time. Thanks to all the agents that supported the bowling night.
Thank you for your leadership, Jonathan. We also have an exciting new class coming, Ninja Selling. Dawn, did you want to speak to this at all? May 6th, you don't want to miss it. 2 hours, 1 to 3 in Papalui. I know the first one, we have a sponsor for some food. So he's asking to please purchase the book before the class. Read it. Okay, we have some updates regarding Red Day. We're super excited. Thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing your farm with us and allowing us to come work there. We have the address there. This is how it's going to work, guys. We're going to meet at our offices at 9 o'clock because we can't all just drive there. They don't have the parking capacity. So we're looking for some volunteer drivers. I'm going to be one and meet at the Kihei office. We need one more Kihei person to volunteer to meet there to drive. And then one or two West Maui agents can meet at Fairways. And then about 5 drivers to meet in Kahului. Realize that everyone's going to get really dirty. So I don't know if you want to bring a change of clothes or throw some towels down in your car. Super excited. So we're meeting at 9. We're going to caravan over there and then start to work from 10 to 12. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah. And then we will, we do have a sponsor for lunch. So First Hawaii title and a sound mind home inspection. First Hawaii title and a sound mind home inspection. So bring your tools, bring your gloves. T-shirts we will have for sale as soon as they arrive. And it's gonna be a great time. Look forward. Anything else to add to that, Ally?
That's about it. Just looking for volunteers for carpooling. As Sasha said, it's limited parking at Lauren's property. And those who registered, I'll go ahead and email out the instructions to get there. Because it's not on the map. Lauren, are you on? Do you have anything to add?
Hi.
Oh, yay.
So, yes, thank you, Sasha, and thank you, Ali, so much for working hard and putting everything together and getting us a lunch sponsor. Yeah, so the parking is limited, so we can't have 60 cars, but you just want to make sure that you're comfortable driving off-road. You don't need 4x4. So whoever's going to be doing the carpool, just take into consideration your vehicle might get a little dirty, just like we are planning to that day. Yeah, any yard tools that you have, weed eaters, sickles, if you have like iron rakes or pitchforks, hedge trimmers, all those kind of things, we're going to be probably in the bush that day. So plan to get dirty and sweaty. And we look forward to having you all.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
do we have anybody in the chat or that wants to sign up to drive now? It'd be great if we could get at least a couple for Teresa. Thank you. A couple for Kahului. I will be in Kihei. Anybody in Kihei or Fairways West Side in the chat? Oh, Keone, thank you. Oh, and Allie. Yay. Okay, awesome. Kihei, we're here. Okay, Kihei. Okay, I'll be there with you. Also wanted to say, guys, we have the capacity for 50 to 60 people. So I would encourage you, all of you that are coming, to please invite an agent that would enjoy this experience. I thought of Erin Clapper, if she's going to be in Japan. If you guys know of other top agents that could enjoy this, please bring them. Talk to them about it, sign them up. It's a great way to highlight our company. Something funny.
There will be mosquitoes.
Should bring some bugs. Oh, bug spray. Bug spray. Bring bug spray.
Keep moving and they don't. touch you.
There's not many mosquitoes unless we have a lot of rain and then it's stored up. So yeah, bring some bug spray if you want, if you can make it natural, but we're not expecting any mosquitoes, thankfully.
Okay. Appreciate the update, Lauren. Jump start starting next month, May 20th. Teresa, you want to speak to this?
Yes. So this is not just for new agents, though of course it is designed to help agents launch their business. If you're not if you haven't had any closings in the last 6 months, if you want to just review certain things, you can pop in, pop out. The schedule will be published. But again, if you're really not working your business at the level that you would like it to be, highly recommend coming and taking this over, because this is phenomenal. We've updated it. It's continuing to grow and evolve. And yeah, we're going to help you get productive.
Awesome. Thank you. And then you guys saw the bowling pictures, and Holly Cow Cow, again, like Jonathan mentioned, there's only room for 5 people. We have generous sponsors that have covered the year, and it's a good time. So let Jonathan know if you're at all interested, and we'll continue to serve our community. Mega Agent Camp. Who's going? I think Steve's going. Anyone else going to Mega Agent Camp? Great opportunity to learn in Austin. Let's see, the pricing is, early bird ends tomorrow. One more day. So you can save $140 by registering today or tomorrow. Okay, and I also forgot to mention, please put in the chat, gate code for the West Maui Huddle, pound 0203. So if you're coming, gate code for Leah's listing is 020, wait, what did you say, pound hashtag 0203. Yes. All righty. Okay, now we get to hear from our beloved broker, Keone Bone. Yay!
Hola, everyone. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, gracias. Okay.
Muy bien, y tú?
Muy bien, gracias. Real quick, RAM has a new dashboard coming out May 1st. They kind of already have part of it going already, so don't freak out when you see it. Just look for the MLS button, hit that, and it'll take you to the MLS dashboard. Unless there's something else that's going to change, but that's something new. Thursday Things. Who read Thursday Things? What is Thursday Things? Realtors Association of Maui's Thursday Things that comes every week. Don't forget on your MLS, right? Public remarks are mandatory for all listings. Okay, they don't specify how long they have to be or how short, but they have to have some kind of wording in there. Remember that leasehold, residential CPRs, REO, real estate owned, right, and short sale properties shall be noted in the public remarks. Okay. If a listing is a residential CPR, short sale, leasehold, or a REO, you must disclose in public remarks that the property is a residential CPR, short sale, leasehold, or REO. Okay, that there must have been some issues. You know, Vincent pushes these out every week. And it's usually something that happened during the week. So just to let you know. The red day, you guys should all come because that water source that we're gonna see while we're up there, right, is what all this controversy is all about. And you'll be able to go and hear from Charlie and Lauren about how it's being diverted and all that stuff, right? We're gonna get to go right to see that, so you'll have firsthand knowledge of what everything is going on over there, and that's gonna be an upcoming battle for sure, or upcoming discussion, I should say, not battle, discussion. The Lahaina fire, as far as selling things in the burn zone, we're getting pretty close to being able to start selling things in there. So if you are going to sell in there, make sure you know that there are certain things that you're going to have to do to affect that sale. With the RAM is working on a disclosure statement for residential and vacant land. They have the one for condominium. I have a message into May to see where they are with that because it's been a while. So that's definitely going to have to be on it, right? We'll have another meeting with the other things that have to be on it. On your purchase contract, and then we're gonna have to start talking about how we're gonna price these things, right? Some of them we can go right out to market, right? Like if it's Okakea, right? There's a couple of buildings that burned down, but most of it is probably just be a normal price on the sale. But other ones that have burned to the ground, right? We'll have to talk about formulas for coming up with prices for those. Because we're gonna set the prices. We want to make sure that people are getting the most they can get for what it is, right?
Tony,
Yes,
last week you said there was that condo disclosure.
yes.
Where is that?
I have it. I can send it to you. I thought we posted it on the thing. Yeah, for the RAM one, for the fire zone.
Okay,
Who's that? Kathy?
Kathy, yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Maybe you can help me post that on the form, our forums.
Okay.
Yeah, but anybody that's working on anything down there should be using that form. And we should discuss it before it gets there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any new disclosures coming up for the insurance rate in the insurance going up and kind of complexes that have not actively yet?
The question was, is there any insurance or any disclosure form for the insurance rate coming up? No, but we should be putting it on the disclosure form, things like that, right? If you're selling a condo, you should ask that question, right? Is your insurance rates going up? Yes, no. Hopefully not to my knowledge or NA, right? They should know, and you should push them to inquire with the association on, have they been talking about it? Is it the same? Is it going to be the same? Is nothing happening, right? there should be an answer for that, because yes, definitely we want, you know, in the next few months, they're all gonna have assessed or not, right? So it'll be a moot point at that, but right now, if you're in sales, inactive sales, it could affect that, right? And you could be stuck later saying, did you ask? Right, when you're on the witness stand. Well, did you ask the seller if the rates were gonna go up? No. Well, why didn't you? You're the professional, right? You're a professional realtor making all that money. Anyway, that's how it happens on the stand. So you want to make sure you can say, yes, I did. And they said, no, it wasn't. And they put it in their disclosure statement that no, it wasn't. But all of a sudden it did. So I did my part, right? Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.
On that note, I would love it if we can share stories in this meeting that you hear about different condo complexes. Just so we can all elevate our understanding of what's happening. I had a friend who has owner at Cam Sands that has 2 units, and this is secondhand, but just as an example to start the conversation, he said that those 2 units, it was a 2-bedroom, were going from 1,000 up to 1,800, and they were assessing everybody 70,000 to take out the bathroom and fix the piping, and then every single owner was responsible to do the remodel after, and he had just remodeled his bathroom a couple of years ago. So does anybody have any stories? I know Dawn had one from West Maui, but if you have anything you can share about what's happening in condo complexes, it would be a gift to the group here. If you could just highlight one. Anybody? Yes, JC, come on up. Woo! Yeah.
Ma'alai Banyans, they're having the same cast iron typing issue that everybody else is having. I just sold a 4th floor unit to another owner. It's the same issue. They have to pull all the cabinets out. And Coney and I talked about this because in the, I forget what rule it is. It basically states that the homeowner is responsible for removing the cabinets and putting them back. And they can basically do whatever damage they want in the plumbing. So you gotta be really careful. So that's all. Ma'alai Banyans has one. That's all I had.
Thank you, JC. And so with all of us having listings and purchases, it would be great if we can share here so that the rest of us have that product knowledge when we're going into it. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, Eliza. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. I just
Aloha.
wanted to talk about Westside Caravan. I will be featuring my Royal Kahana listing, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We will be giving away a $100 gift card, a Visa card. We'll have Krispy Kreme donuts, so come on by, and I'll see everyone on Wednesday. Thank you. Aloha.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, so we covered the escrow instructions. Did you cover this, Keone?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So you can access the updated form through the intranet.
Yeah, and you'll notice, sorry. You wanna go over that?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
So hey, everybody. We have doc prep, as you'll notice on the bottom of it basically looks the same, right? Your escrow instructions, except at the bottom, please order conveyance docs from Doc Prep Hawaii or other, right? If you have an other, then put the other. If not, Doc Prep Hawaii, right? That's Rustin's father's law firm that will do those doc preps for us. So you have somebody that you know doing that for you is the advantage, and I think they're giving us some kind of deal. Anyway, that's an option. If you don't have anyone else to do your doc prep, you can do that. And you know what? Probably next week, I'll make Rustin come here and give his father's spiel, or maybe have his dad come. Okay, thanks, mate.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Here we go. Intranet, Hawaii 1. Kira, you want to go over this?
Oh, that's just where to find the document.
Oh, this is where to find the document. Okay, I see. Documents, got it.
Preston Tong from Omaha.
Rusted Tom from Milwaukee, right? Okay, office desk rental, there's one left. It's gonna be either the one right behind the desk or the second one. Joanne is moving in with Derek. If you want that office, $75. Please don't sit there if you're not renting it because we're reserving those for those that rent it. There are some drop-in desks around the corner in the little cubby towards the back. Are you looking for open house support? Oh, is this Teresa? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Hey, okay. So if you're a listing agent and you're looking for open house support, register your listing here. We will not be assigning anybody. We're just going to push it out so that agents who want to reach out to you know how to reach out to you and what days of support you're looking for. Equally, there'll be another document going out for agents who want to set open house. We will not be matchmaking anybody. You'll just be getting your list. You reach out to the listing agent, you interview with the listing agent, you make sure that they know that you're qualified to host open house because of course you're representing them and their client. If your open house skills are rusty, Jumpstart has 2 days of open house training. So another reason to show up.
Hey, awesome. Great idea, Teresa. Yeah, JC.
One thing about open houses.
Yeah.
As a listing agent, if you're gonna sit an open house and you need to cancel, to me, it should be your responsibility to find somebody
Yeah.
to replace. Because if I get somebody that calls in and doesn't do it that day, we'll probably not get another open house.
Yeah, great point, JC. So what JC said was if you offer to host an open house for someone, best practice, don't cancel. If you can't make it, go find someone that they would approve of and say, hey, I'm not able to make it, but this other agent, is that okay if they replace it? Because for listing agents, when that's canceled, it's not going to make them want to have you sit open again. So that's a great point. And don't presume that someone that you find is acceptable to the listing agent either. You definitely need the listing agent's blessing on who is sitting in their open. Okay, Keone and I will never ask you to get an Amazon card or are you available? If you get anything from us, just double check the phone number because you all have our phone numbers.
Yeah.
It should say Sasha. So that's Keone. So if you look at the top, this one, is a 706 and another number. So just be leery. Market Center open house signs, please sign up in advance and bring them back. 2 signs up to 5 days. Okay, welcome to the National Do Not Call Registry page. So the TCPA compliance, this is where you go and register. And so that you can have access to those lists. That's what it looks like, telemarketing.donotcall.gov.
There you go.
Yeah, so we have a big full hour meeting. Thank you for your patience. Does anyone want to highlight a listing before we go? Oh, Allie, yes.
All right. Thanks everyone for hanging out this whole hour. This is fun. Jane mentioned it last week, but we have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath at South Point. Asking $625. The owners are moving out this week, so it'll be open after that. And it's got a nice yard. You can have 2 animals. So South Point and Kihei. Aloha.
Awesome camera work, Kathy.
Hey. Anyone else? I have a little treasure I'm going to leave you guys with. You guys know I'm on this journey to read a book a week. I'm on track ahead. It's usually more than it's listening because it's easier. I can consume it in the car. And I read Your Money or Your Life and it was so good. I went back and read it again. And it's actually saved me thousands of dollars in the first week on changes in my decision making. And then the other thing, they have this thing called Think 30. And it's taking 30 minutes every day to think. And what you do is you pick a topic and you set a timer for 10 minutes and you spend the first 10 minutes just thinking about the topic. Could be something specific, financial management, health, your husband, whatever. And then you spend the next you set the timer again, and basically you're gonna rage against thinking about other things during that 10 minutes. It's like anybody who's tried to meditate or your brain is all over the place. So you just bring yourself back. And then the next thing you do is spend the next 10 minutes, reset, and you write all about what you were thinking. And you fill the page. And then the last 10 minutes, you go back and you look to make connections. And so he says most of the time, like 80%, it's gonna be kind of random and you're like, what am I doing this for? But the one breakthrough thought or two that you have, and I'm telling you what, I'm on day 3 and it's already working. So I challenge you guys, let me know, try to think for 30 minutes. Let me know if you make any breakthroughs. It's really helping me a lot. So there you go. Okay, have a great week, guys. Woo!
Thank you.